Hello and welcome to Drunk on Tea. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a Rohan Horse. To start off with, I've spray painted it with Chaos Black Primer just to make everything nice solid black colour. Now I'm coming along here with Ashen Grey to paint all of the flesh of the horse. It's going to take a couple of coats to get good coverage, but at this point you don't need to worry about being too neat. As you can see, you just sort of get it on, make sure you work it into all of those recesses to build up a good solid base layer we can work on from that later. Yeah, the first coat will be a little bit see-through. It's just going to take 2 or 3 just to ensure you get full coverage. Make sure you paint the tail and the mane of the horse as well. Build it up to a good solid colour. As you can see here, I'm coming through with a second coat now, just to give it a lot more depth. And then you come along here and paint all the leather and the straps and this part around his head with Rhinox hide. I think I managed to do this in just 1 coat, but if it does look a little bit weak, come back through after it's dried and get a second coat. Just make sure you stay nice and neat. Try not to get any over the grey we've already painted. Obviously, if you do, you can just go back with a little bit of Ashen Grey and cover that up. At this point, I'm also painting the saddle with Rhinox hide as well, just to make that stand out and just to give that unifying colour to all of the leather across the horse. Also come in here in a second and paint the strap underneath as well, and it just creates a constant band of colour going all the way under and over the horse. So next up, we're going to paint the fabric. Come in here with Steel Legion Drab for this. It's a nice natural tone and creates a nice little bit of distinction against the darker leather that we've already done. I think you can do this with 1 coat as well, but it might take 2 just to get a more solid colour. So be nice and neat. You don't want to get this on the grey or the Rhinox hide if you can help it. Obviously, if you do, you just go back with a little bit of the base colour and tidy it up. So the next one, I'm coming here with some lead belcher. I'm painting the metal parts. There's only this little bit here on his head, and there's a couple of little sort of hooks, connector points, the rings that you just paint up. Next, I'm coming in with just a little bit of Corvus Black, just to do the hooves of the animal, and then give it a wash all over with Nuln Oil. Just slap it all over. Make sure you work it into some recesses, because this is really what we want it to do, is to get in there and give some definition. So you don't have to be neat, you don't have to be tidy, it's just all over coat. Just make sure you work it into the hair a little bit and sort of around the face to help give you some of that sort of natural black lining that will do as it pulls into the recesses. If it's pulling too much in areas you don't want, just dry your brush and pull it away. Here you go. Once that's dried, it's got a little bit of a shine to it. Don't worry, we could knock that back with some paints and varnishes later. So now, excuse the little bit of focus issues here, I come in with some Mechanica Standard Grey, and I'm getting all of the raised bits, so where the shade hasn't settled as much. I'm coming in there and just lightening that up a little bit, making sure you leave the shade in the recesses. I've thinned this down quite a bit as well, so that it will let a little bit of the darker shade tones and the Ashen Grey shine through. And basically I'm just trying to sort of pick out the muscle definition, so build up that shape to the horse that there is by using the shade paint as a guide, sort of coming around wherever the shade hasn't settled and painting over them in just 1 or 2 thin coats just to build up a little bit of colour there. So you come around to the legs, make sure you sort of pick out what you can see here. Anything that's raised and upward and would catch the light, you want to be a little bit of a lighter colour. So here on the back, So I'm getting these rear muscles here, bringing out the muscle shapes where I can. So you're looking for those curves and trying to get a good little layer of Mechanica Standard Grey over the top of all of them. Really helping out the definition that's on the model. And here you can see what it looks like after one or two coats, just thinned Mechanica Standard Grey. Now I'm coming in with a 50-50 mix of Mechanica Standard Grey and Dawnstone. I'm focusing this onto the higher parts of the muscle. It's nice and thinned again, so it will let a little bit of the previous layer show through. Picking out those higher, more curved parts that would catch the light. Like here around the face, sort of on the neck, under the eye, around the nostrils and the top lip. Picking those out, creating the curves and the definition, and just a little bit of interest onto those muscle shapes. Here over the back legs, just following that curve of that muscle and adding a nice thin layer, leaving a little bit of the Mechanica Standard Grey, the Eshin Grey and the shade. Here you can see they're really starting to pop now. You can see all the shapes to the muscles around the back legs and the front legs of the horse. So now I do come in with a little bit of Dawnstone, and I'm just sort of almost doing an edge highlight on the highest parts, just trying to add in a little bit more shape and differentiate some of those curves that the model has. And here around the face, on the bottom bit of the exposed cheek, a little bit of the top eyelid if you can get to it. Otherwise, obviously you do around the nostrils and that top lip as well, just a little line of Dawnstone. So here around the back of the neck as well, there's a nice curve. Just follow that all the way down and really bring it out. Essentially, this is on the borders between where you've got your colours. I just want to differentiate that change between the two. Be nice and neat with these, obviously nice fine lines. You don't want them to be too thick. It's just work your way around the model, picking out any of those more stark muscles. Like here on the legs, there's some quite prominent lines. So just put a little dab on each one of them. And okay, here over the back legs, see that predominant muscle there. So just tracing my way around, picking out anything that I think could do with a bit more focus. Now I'm just dry brushing the tail with Dawnstone. I do the tail and the mane. It just helps bring out those hair details on there. Just a quick light dry brush. Just catch the raised hairs. That's all it needs. Now on this cloth, I'm coming back in with Steel Legion Drab and catching sort of the higher parts, leaving the Nuln Oil shade in the recesses. Excuse the focus. Now I'm coming in with Baylor Brown, doing basically an edge highlight on the starkest of them. So all the way around the edge, the top of the folds, just to catch them and add some interest. So now for the darker leather, I'm coming with some Gawthor brown and just doing an edge highlight. So running under that strap underneath the belly, along these reins around the side. Just you can do these with the side of your brush to catch most of them. Around here on the top of the headdress, there's two little raised lines, so I'm just catching them. It's just a edge highlight around the side of everything. And here around the saddle, I'm just doing a quick run around the outside of it. This is going to get covered up by a rider eventually, so we don't need to worry too much about this. Now for the eye, I'm just coming in here first with a little bit of a Baden black, just to fill in like over the eye. And I come in with a bit of white scar and paint that within the black. Be quite careful and take your time here. And then I come in with a little bit more Baden black and just kind of put a line through the middle of that. And then Stormhost Silver, just to come over all of these metal parts, just give them a quick edge highlight, and then on the top just pick out a few of these sort of scales for the chainmail, and that's it. That is the Rohan Horse done. So thank you very much, and enjoy painting.